Well, hello and welcome. Welcome to those that are watching us live on the different channels. It's Katalin's Facebook page, my Facebook page, and my YouTube channel. And we hope in time to be able to add one of Trish's channels so that you can see her directly live. You will also find us converting this show into a podcast. If you wish to just listen and not watch, you can search out for our podcast. We'll tell you more about that during the show. But we're here together for conversations for women entrepreneurs from around the globe. We're here to encourage you in lifestyle. We're here to encourage you to, if in case you are a traveler, I know that everything is on hold, but we all appreciate travel. And we're also just eager to share and to teach you new tools that will help you grow your business and just find thriving in your life, which is important. But today we are here to talk about manifestation and tapping into your creative powers. And I am joined with Trish. Good morning, Trish.
Hello there.
And Katalin. Hi, Katalin.
Hi.
So lovely to have you both with me. I said this morning, but it's not morning for all of us. Katalin is in Portugal. So it is afternoon for her, and Trish is up in Montana. So she's on the same time zone as me.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. So, ladies, I know that we've discussed this ahead of the show and manifestation, visualization. What would you say, Trish? When did you become aware, or how new is this concept to you?
Well, I know we've discussed this as a group, and I feel like the word has been something I'm well aware of. If you ask someone, do you know what manifestation is? I think most people do. But then when I think about actively using it and being aware of it, it's interesting that I haven't really been as aware. And I'm kind of excited to start practicing it more actively, because I can look back on successes in my life that I'm proud of, that I did manifest.
Right.
But didn't know I did. Right.
Katalin, what would you say now moving into visualization, manifestation? Yeah, how long has it been part of your life?
Well, I think I got aware of it maybe 20 years ago, when I was dreaming always to travel the world. So, and growing up in a small town in Transylvania 40-something years ago, this was none of your options. And 20 years later, I was living in Frankfurt, and my mother told me, no one believed when you always said you will travel the world. And then, but still my biggest wish was to live on the seaside. And since 2.5 years, we moved to the seaside. And in this time, I became aware of this power, what you really wish for in the bottom of your heart, it can come true. And when I read Dr. Tara Swart's book, it's called Source, a month ago, thank you for the recommendation, Carol, I started journaling, and so it's a very new conscious habit of mine.
Lovely, yeah. Trish, is there a way that you find is that you're trying? As you know, I too have realized that I kind of feel that I'm new to this all, and then I realized, wait a minute, I've actually been doing that. But I'm loving the fact that there's a wide resource of different tools and different applications that you can bring to make this work for you personally. I mean, is there a tool that's been working for you?
You know, I'll tell you a couple of things. Believe it or not, especially during these times of pandemic, it really shifts our minds, and we have to stop and think, because we are feeling different in a lot of ways and maybe less hopeful. So I think I've tried to be a little more intentional with journaling and writing, not necessarily goal setting per se, but writing things down that I want to accomplish. And I know I've talked a lot about my simple whiteboard in the kitchen.
Love it. Yeah.
But really, I look at that and it keeps me going, and I change it out from week to week. And then also just having something to look forward to, something fun. Joel and I are going to be going cross-country skiing next week. So something like that keeps me forward thinking. and
Lovely.
hopeful.
Yeah. And you might see some more black bear tracks. I think that's wonderful. Oh my
It's
goodness.
exciting.
Yes.
A little scared though. I mean, does it not concern you that when you think, well, there's black bears have been around here?
It's funny, the more you go out in the woods, almost the less worried you get, which is not a good thing because you might be more likely to actually see something. So we carry bear spray. And they are.
Okay. I have to, just on a side note, I wasn't aware of bear spray until we spent some time in Cody, Wyoming, and I walked into a store and saw all these things for bear spray, and I was like, this is real.
Right. No, it really is. And I practice using it. Joel doesn't appreciate it, but I do practice at a distance to make sure it's working so that if it really happens, you use it, you know. But no, it's so wonderful to go out in the woods, and it does keep me creative when it comes to manifesting things because it gives me something to feel hopeful about.
Right. Katalin, what would you say about affirmations? You know, I know that sometimes one can have these sort of pie in the sky dreams, but having just very basic, very clear affirmations that we can repeat to ourselves or write down on a card, say them over again.
Well, actually, I don't have it here, but I have a book of affirmations. And every day I try to put some very clear affirmations in there. And before I start the yoga class, I always pick one, which I tell you at the end.
Right.
And this is from my booklet where I collect all these affirmations.
That
so
is
wonderful. It's like programming your brain or giving your brain a direction. At least this is how it feels to me.
And Katalin, if I could add,
taking control over how you want to feel or where you want to be.
That's what I was going to add. I take your class, as you know, and it actually sets my mind every time you do that at the end of our yoga session, Katalin, when you give that meditative message, I take that with me into the day. So it's powerful. I love that.
And I have to agree that I think that just putting that in the back of your mind and then repeating it just reaffirms. I mean, there are other tools, and one could still be using that when they talk about bedtime reprogramming. And if you read that before you went to sleep, as opposed to stressing over your day of what you thought didn't go well or what you failed at. And I think it helps to set intentions. If you set an intention with that affirmation.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share on that note, I'm going to ask both of you to share something from the past that you have seen come to fruition, come to happen, come to be. And I know, Katalin, you spoke about wanting to live by the seaside. And now you're there. I just want to share that something that was pretty exciting for me the other day. And I'm not diligent. I don't do this every day, but I do try to journal 3 things that I'm grateful for from the day before, so that I could reflect on the day before. 1 thing that I'm grateful for this day that's ahead of me, and then 2 things, if they happened, would make my day great. And we both, Trish and I, do yoga with Katalin online on a Tuesday. And I happen to write on Tuesday, the 2 things that would make my day great would be an amazing yoga class with Katalin and 5 ladies to sign up for my mastermind community in January. And Katalin just rocked her yoga class on Tuesday.
Absolutely.
She really did. I mean, it was everything I wanted on Tuesday morning. So I was like, oh. And then before the yoga class, I had my 5th lady commit to signing up. So, and I have a little app on my phone. It's called, I need to have a look for it now. Think Up, I think it's what it's called. And you can record your own affirmations with your own voice and listen to it. And
I love it.
It's been one of mine, for the mastermind that the right ladies come to it. So it's kind of all come together. How about you, Trish? Has there been something that you've that's happened for you?
Yeah, actually, the idea of space, and I know you're going to share some images here, but that's been on my mind, and I had to give it some thought. What have I been manifesting? But when I realized it was about the tiny home project that I did last year, and then Joel and I looking at places to live in our future, kind of like Katalin having the dream to live near the sea, I realized, what is that about? And I thought, I really feel that it's about creating space that is peaceful, creating space that is fulfilling, whether it be a tiny house or, a beautiful home on the ocean. So I think that's something I'm becoming more aware of, thanks to you asking and thanks to us doing this podcast, is what am I manifesting, and it is something about being a life coach where you hope that others will manifest their own futures that are pleasant and happy.
Right. And I think, Katalin, that would tie into something you mentioned earlier about the joy and the gratitude that we were chatting about earlier. Would you mind sharing that with us again?
Yes. Well, I think that, the question was let's back to the beginning. Praise, which I also think it's very important, it activates the emotional circuit associated with joy, happiness, contentment. And the more we are in this state of satisfaction with our lives, the more we are open the space and connect to our source and are able to live creatively.
Yes, good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it releases us and it invites. And I guess that might even delve into the law of attraction, which is probably another whole conversation, but that you're attracting some of the positive things when you put yourself in that state.
And if I could just add that I was even reading about this when I was looking up the subject, negative thought, repetitive negative thought, which human beings just do, the brain just does systematically, can lead to negative outcomes. So the power of manifestation, to Katalin's point, if we come from a place of positivity and gratefulness, gratitude, we will manifest better things. And I think that's really important to remember.
Yeah, and the brain does not understand I don't want, I will, just the present moment. This is also why you have to manifest everything in the present moment as you already had it, or as you are already there, because in this way, your subconscious registers your intention as a fact instead of just a possibility.
I like that. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that is, it's important. And, it talks about when we start the process of visualization, it's the start of muscle memory. And I think that ties in, is that you then start to condition, and with the expectation, and it doesn't come with just writing it down. I mean, we have to do the work.
Absolutely, Carol. That's the key.
We have to do the work to get there. So it requires whatever it requires, but we need to break it down, would you say, into many goals, many steps, many action items that we're going to take to have what we're manifesting. And on that note, I'd love to bring in our just to share our card, and we have some images up, and we hope for those listening to the podcast that this is going to show how well we can describe
hopefully
we're wanting. So let's give this a try and see how this works. I know it's going to be a lot easier for
Carol,
those.
I love that you did this. It's so much fun.
Yeah. So Trish, I'm going to start off with you because I can see a picture of your tiny house, and we were talking about homes. So this is what you have up. Do you have it up on somewhere that you can see it, or you just remember and come back to this in your mind? And what does it mean to you?
I love the vision board, and I do remember, or I do believe that vision boards are powerful. The tiny house, actually, after today, no kidding, I am going to put this up on a wall because it represents something I'm really proud of. I sold the tiny house this last year. It was a very quick manifestation when it comes to time, but it was a time in my life that wasn't positive, where I needed some positive affirmation. And this was a project I took on, and it really fulfilled my now. It made me feel hopeful. It was something I could go full force into creating. And then I opened an Airbnb, And it was successful for the short time that I had it. But it represents for me a lot of positivity in terms of creating space that others can enjoy. And so that's something I'm really proud of.
Lovely. And I know that, as you were mentioning earlier, that's what you're looking towards for the future is finding or creating this search for the perfect home, the perfect space. For Katalin, I've got that lovely picture, which actually happens to be in the BVI, which is a very special place to my heart because I've lived there. But yeah, so we have some ladies doing yoga looking at the ocean. Tell me about it.
Yeah, well, as you can see on both pictures, I think what connects them is the community. And this is what I'm looking forward, and this is what I'm dreaming of, to have a big community of women around me whom we all support each other and help each other. And on one side, I would like to have finally my yoga retreats happening because COVID stops. And I would like you to be there. And this is one.
Did you say COVID? COVID stops? Is that what you said?
Yes, that's what I said.
Yes.
This is,
I agree.
Yeah, the pandemic. And the other one is an online community. I would have never thought that I will start teaching online because it was not my medium at all. But forcefully I did because of the pandemic, and it turned out this is also the way how I started to build a new business, and it does connect. Only you can connect online, and also what we all do, it's a proof. So this is my manifestation and my dream for the future of an online and an offline community of women entrepreneurs.
That is just wonderful. Yeah. And it just proves to those that are listening to us that we have pivoted during 2020 and looking at our 2021 goals on this canvas. Mine are the middle pictures, actually our sailboat in Bonaire. And those are beautiful memories from last Christmas. And I am visualizing us being back there soon. So I'm going to be doing as many steps as I can. I'm looking at different ways that we can get back there, but that's important to me for 2021. And then
go ahead.
Yes. Sorry, Trish, go ahead.
Oh, it just occurred to me super quickly that the three of us are kind of crossing over in our manifestations, because I'm now hoping to go to Portugal, which is part of Carol's future. And then we're both participating in yoga, which is part of Katalin's manifestation. So crossing over and sharing each other's, supporting each other's hopes, I think.
And power in numbers. I mean, power in, verbalizing this and journeying. We're not doing this alone. So
but sorry, you go ahead.
No, just my last one is co-working space in Lisbon. And so the same thing, is wanting people to be able to travel again and be able to come together for my retreat, and believing that it's going to happen because I have got such precious memories of my time there and I want to share that with others. So there we go. So we have something to visualize and hold on to. And I guess as we are wrapping up, I had just wanted to say, are there other techniques that you would recommend for our listeners to explore, Katalin?
I think, just very short, I think gratitude is very important, and maybe a daily ritual that gives you the space, to spend time with yourself, to do something that makes you happy.
Yeah, no, I think that's important. And Trish, how about you? Is there something you would recommend?
Yes, I agree with Katalin. I'm going to quote Joel, my most significant other. He will repeatedly say to me when my head gets into the future, which is often, "How is your now?" He will bring me back to the moment of how is my now, and suddenly I am very aware that we are in a moment that I should be enjoying, experiencing. And so that's a powerful statement for me, is how is your now?
And that brings me into mindfulness. that I've been trying to practice that in just the actions and some of the things that I do during the day, is to be appreciative of the nature outside. That's so important for us. And so I think that also ties into the now. One of the areas that I think I would like to spend more time on is the bedtime routine and reprogramming, and going to sleep on a visualization, an affirmation, a manifestation, but sleeping on that, because I think our brains are so incredible. And while we think we're sleeping, what can they be doing for us?
It's so interesting. I fall asleep every evening by saying thank you for everything that I have in my life, and I count on everything and everybody, and this is how I fell asleep.
I do that too, Katalin. I've been doing that as well. I have not been one to pray. I don't attend a specific church.
Yes.
But I get down on my knees. And since the pandemic and having days of despair, really relative despair, I'm very blessed. But I would get on my knees and close my eyes before I went to bed. And it's a routine for me now. You're so right, Carol. We're feeding our mind something positive before we go to sleep.
See, the universe put us together for a reason, right, ladies?
Yeah,
I guess so.
So we are going to be back on the 1st of January, and our topic then is going to be resilience and
surprise.
Resolutions. And are you not a goal setter, do you write down goals for your new year? So are you yes or no on that? And so that's what we're going to be talking about. And as I mentioned before, there will be links in the show notes on our podcast, which you can listen to on your favorite platform. If you have missed our live, or you're not wanting to watch the live and it's easier just to listen to something while you're driving or cleaning or whatever you might be doing, and you'll find us on Connect, Inspire, Create.
And so I guess I get to send us out today. And I would just like to thank everyone for watching, for listening. I love you both. I enjoy this podcast tremendously. And listeners and watchers, observers, put your notes in. Send us notes and suggestions for topics. We're so grateful for every one of you, and have a blessed evening and day wherever you are. Bye-bye.